Sniper Elite is a great tactical shooter, but it's also great for fighting zombies. Zombie Army Trilogy that came out on the Switch a couple years ago took Sniper Elite V2 and turned it into a pretty good co-op zombie adventure. Then they decided to up the ante. They made a new game and improved the trilogy in nearly every way, with more hordes, options, and now, additional crazy zombie action on the go. Here is my review of Zombie Army 4 Dead War for the Nintendo Switch. The plot of 4 takes place not long after the events of Zombie Army Trilogy. Although Adolf Hitler was banished to the depths of hell, the Nazi zombie army continues to advance on the rest of the world. You play as a member of the resistance in fighting against the army and discovering the mystery behind large hellstorms that have been popping up all over Europe. Now, I find the plot here to be pretty decent. It's not award-winning or really deep on characters, but you do get a lot more of it than you did in Trilogy with constant dialogue as you go through each level. When it comes to gameplay, this is a third-person shooter with co-op and lots of upgrading. As you play each level, you'll be running around 3D areas, gunning down hundreds of Nazi zombies as you do puzzles to complete objectives. To begin, the Switch port of Dead War contains all of the base content plus the first season pass. That gives you access to the 9 chapters of the main campaign plus the first 3 DLC chapters that serve as a continuation. But the second and third season pass must be purchased on their own like on the other platforms. Now when you boot everything up, you have access to 2 game modes, Campaign and Horde, the same basic setup as Zombie Army Trilogy, and all of them can be played solo or co-op with local or online multiplayer. And if you've played the game before, you can use a Steam cross-save function to sync up your save data between the Switch and Steam versions over on PC. But that's where the cross-platform functions end. Co-op is unfortunately only with Switch players. But it is pretty intuitive. When you're playing the game and a friendless player boots it up, you get a handy little notification at the bottom of the screen that they've come online, even if you're playing solo. And you've got little cute messages on the Switch UI to show what you're doing as well. Like this message of choosing how to kill zombies when you're on the main menu. Now once you're in the game, it's pretty straightforward. You choose a character and loadout of weapons before going into the mission, and you've got a lot more to choose from than before, especially with characters. You've got 4 main characters with a bunch of different variations along with some unique ones and even more if you buy the DLC or download the free Left 4 Dead collaboration. And that goes even further later on once you start unlocking customizable charms, taunts, and helmets that you can equip to your character. Once you choose everything you want, you'll be placed in a large 3D area with objectives on how to fulfill your mission. There are a variety of possible tasks, but it'll mostly be down to going somewhere to interact with an object and killing lots of zombies. This is where the improvements begin. Zombie Army 4 is best described as Rebellion taking Trilogy and improving it in pretty much every way. You have hordes that will wander around and attack you, letting you swap between your sniper rifle, secondary weapon, and pistol to take them down and move on. But I noticed early that you're given pretty large groups of enemies from the get-go. The game ramps up a lot faster and gives you more overwhelming numbers than Trilogy did. As far as what you'll be fighting, a lot of enemies are returning from Trilogy, from the typical Romero-style walkers to the dynamite-embedded suiciders. But the game does add a few new variations in the form of commanders that emphasize you killing them quickly before they overwhelm you with abilities, like turning walkers into runners or creating suiciders all over the battlefield. And the best part is, none of the bosses are repeat encounters with different mobs around them like Trilogy did. They're all pretty new and some of them aren't even bosses. Though the bosses that do appear you will fight again, as they all spawn later on as normal mobs. The only thing I was a little disappointed with in enemy variety was the lack of zombie animals. An entire set of levels for the game takes place in the middle of a zoo, but you never once see a zombie that isn't human. Some traps feature zombie sharks, but I was hoping for fun battles with zombie monkeys and lions, and the zoo was completely void of animals. But with more zombies also comes more options and features to kill them with. You have a lot more you can use outside of just the 3 weapons. Each weapon gets a power up after so many kills, like the shotgun slow motion or rifle armor piercing mode. It's a game where you are constantly strategizing and building up various gauges for different functions. Even outside of shooting, you have a recharging melee attack and can build up a combo to use an overtake function, letting you do a gory cinematic kill to give you some health back. Adding more to the mix is the upgrade and perk system. There are tons of collectibles you can find in each stage, like documents and comic books, but the one you'll always want to look for are the upgrade kits. These let you use a workshop found at the beginning of each level to enhance your weapons, give your shotgun a chargeable electric attack to stun multiple enemies at once, or just adding more damage and clip size to your pistol to turn it from a 3 to 4 shoot kill to a one-shot hand cannon. And perks can be unlocked as you play to give you a lot of passives. These are pretty unique, with some enhancing your character in general, while others are more geared towards co-op, letting you affect other players with the buff that the perk card will give you. Now all of this comes together pretty nicely for a ton of customization and enhancing you will do across the 9-chapter campaign. And considering you gain experience and rank up at the end of each level, you'll constantly be unlocking more perks and customization options to utilize in future missions. That also brings us to content and length. Even without the DLC missions that are built into the Switch version, a single run through the campaign will take you at least 12 to 15 hours. And considering that there are 6 more episodes in the not built-in DLC, this game has the potential for having a truly massive amount of stuff to do. Taking just a moment to dive into controls, it's worth noting that gyro motion aiming is built into Dead War just like with Trilogy. Not much new to say as it is identical. It works very well, especially for making precise aim when looking down the sights or through a scope. Now on to presentation. This game looks great. Very little to no blur, a ton of detail, and it all around just looks really good, both in docked and handheld mode. And performance is the same way. Constant 30 FPS from start to finish, and I never saw the frames drop under 30. Rebellion did a great job with the optimization. I don't have anything else to say about performance, so let's go into battery life. The original model gets a range of 3 hours and 18 up to 5 hours and 18. The Nintendo Switch Lite gets a range of 3 hours and 26 up to 5 hours and 40. The Redboxer V2 2019 model gets a range of 5 hours and 47 up to 7 hours and 28. And the OLED model gets a range of 6 hours and 7 up to 7 hours and 50. In conclusion, Dead War is a fun zombie game to play on the go and a difficult one for me to score. Outside of disappointment with them not having zombie animals in the zoo levels, there wasn't much about this game I didn't like. It's a fast-paced zombie adventure, is optimized amazingly well, and improved pretty much everything its predecessor began with Zombie Army Trilogy. If you enjoy shooting down zombies and watching the Sniper Elite bullet cams, it's great. Reviews to go rates Zombie Army 4 Dead War for the Nintendo Switch a 9.5 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.